Hey y'all, this is our second installation of A-frame tutorials for Web 2. So I'm just going to be using this same kind of like mocked up little example that I used last time for this tutorial, and I'm just going to be kind of adding some other things to it just to show you some techniques, and then I look forward to seeing what you'll do with those. I'm really impressed with what you've been able to do so far. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to use this visual inspector. Okay, so when you're on the output screen here, if you hit Control Alt I, it'll bring up this visual inspector. And what's so great about this is that you can actually select individual objects and kind of move them around. One thing I do want to highlight here is you can actually be giving your entities IDs. So this sphere has an ID of thing 1. For instance, if you're going to do anything where you're building anything complex with multiple shapes, you may want to be using these IDs just so you can kind of see what everything is, and it'll show up here as well. So as you can see, this has no ID, so it doesn't show there. So those are just some skills for you to, or some tools for you to just kind of keep track of what is happening. Um, and then how this works is, so let's say I want to put this shape inside of this shape. I can move it around like exactly where I want it to go. So let's say I want it to like kind of intersect this thing. Um, this does not change your code at all. So what you'll have to do is maybe just write down. So this is like 0.1.05, 1.85, and then or 1.842, and then -5. So then you'll have to physically go over to the entity that you moved over and then change that position. So this was 1.05 and 1.842, and then this was -5. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Um, Great. Okay. So now you can see that. And then you can also see things from different perspectives. So you can kind of toggle around, right? And sort of see things from these different views here. And that will help you kind of navigate around the space. If you go to perspective, it'll obviously let you kind of like move around. Doesn't let you use the arrow keys. Some other things I'll just highlight. So this option here is just for just the translate XYZ. This is for rotate, right? So this is for doing your rotation. And then this one here is for scale. So then you could sort of be like scaling things up as well if you wanted to. And these will also help you quite a bit with, when you are, when you're going to be like doing your animations. And then here you can also test out. So if you scroll down, right, this is your geometry. Okay, so this stuff you can kind of mess with, right? Your radius. That's my dog crying. And then your material. You can kind of mess around with the material stuff, blending, color, all that good stuff will help you kind of get things looking exactly how you want them to look. This stuff in terms of, so here's like a flat shader, and then you could sort of change the color if you wanted to so that it doesn't have, light on it. Standard. So this will help you kind of get things looking exactly how you want them to look. And then this SRC here, I actually tried to put a YouTube video on here, but I'm going to show that in the next set of tutorials how to do video wrap. So again, this will just help you kind of, here's your roughness texture. You could try different levels of opacity. So this is pretty much like everything you could do to a material. I don't have all of these on there right now, so a lot of them won't really make sense. But some of these I do have, and so they will help you kind of figure out exactly how you want your material to look. So I would encourage you to kind of mess with these, and we'll get in more into exact materials and textures in our next video. Okay, so that's that. And then just to get back to the scene, you just go back to scene. And then again, just make sure if you want to make any changes, you'll have to just do that manually. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is we are going to talk about how to use the material environment. So in the last video, we just used this like 360 background, which is definitely one way you can work with this. But now I'm going to show you how to work with the environment components because there's some really cool stuff that can happen there. Okay, so I'm over here. I'm just in the A-frame. I'm in building a basic scene and then adding an environment. I'll send this exact link to y'all. I'll put it in the YouTube video. Okay, so what we can do is we can share reusable components and create these environments. So this sort of walks you through exactly how to do this. And then if you click on this link here, the environment component, I'll also link this for you as well. This sort of shows you exactly what you can do with this A-frame environment component. This cute little video is really helpful because it sort of shows you what everything will look like. All right, so here's how it works. The first thing that we're going to need to do, and this gives you a lots of really easy to follow stuff, right? So make sure you're using A-frame, and then we just need to include this A-frame environment component in our actual library. So I'm going to copy this over, and again, I'll make sure that you have this link. And we're going to put it up where right underneath our script tag for the actual A-frame library itself. Okay, so that allows us to use this environment. And then the entity that we're using, so the way that A-frame works is these are named entities, right? A ring, a plane, but an entity is just like a blank. It's kind of like a div. Actually it's exactly like a div. It's just sort of like blank. So the A sky would be like your H1 or like a P tag, right? It like comes with like it is a div, it is an entity, but it like comes with its own specific style, right? So that's kind of what like A sky is, A sphere is. But a sort of like blank one that you can make into anything is an entity. So you could do an entity and then give it a geometry of a sphere. And so there's a lot of different things that you could do with that. And so that's what they're doing with this environment. Okay, so the most basic thing is just a entity environment. All right. The next basic thing is going to be a entity preset. Okay. So and then preset is going to be the name of the preset that you want, and these are actually the presets. So everything that's listed up here, these are the actual presets. So let's go with this one. Okay, and I think I am going to get rid of, I'm going to get rid of this search from the sky because I just don't need it anymore. You know what, I'll leave it for now. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to mix in this entity, and then, so that's going to be my environment, okay? And some of these that are going to have like really long lists, I like to kind of put them on other lines, like so. As long as you have the, actually, let's leave this caret friend here. Okay, cool. All right, so environment preset, the name of the preset. Let's go with, I think I like that lava one. Ooh, poison. Okay, let's do poison. So name of preset, poison. Okay, so when we go back here, okay, so poison. Okay, so we'll just put in Poison. Okay, whoops, spelled wrong. Poison. All right, so let's head back here. Okay, so now what we have is we have this this environment, right? So I still have my plane there, but I have this whole environment. Okay, so this is the poison environment. Okay, and so this will automatically pull in the like the default poison preset. So let's just try out a few of them. So on this document here, it's sort of showing you everything that you can do, right? So let's just try a real simple one. Let's do dream. Okay, and that will pull in this little dreamscape friend here. And what these environments come with is they come with a preset plane here. So we could actually just remove our plane because it's sort of doing like a weird interference thing, unless you're into the way that looks, which I encourage, you know, the glitchiness. So here we go. So this is going to be the dreamscape. All right. And so a lot of these are just really interesting to look at, like right out of the box. You know, for instance, let's try contact. Okay, so here's contact. All right, so this is what things are going to look like just kind of right out of the box, right? But there's a way that you can kind of like mix all of these features and functionality together. And so everything that you see below here, okay, so everything that you see here, the parameters, these are all the parameters that we can do, okay? So we can select presets, but like we can change some of its characteristics. So right now I have, for instance, I have a preset of dream. We can pull in this ground color. So I'm just going to do it on another line here, like so. And then we'll have to, wait, let me just double check that. Yeah, okay, so the ground cover is actually part of the preset here. See that? So see this set of quotes? So what we'll want to do is, instead of doing what I just did, I want to get rid of that. Okay, so we want everything to be, so this is all the parameter for environment. Preset and ground color. They want to be in the same quote set. Okay, so now we have a dream ground color. Let's just do another color picker. Color picker. Thanks, Google. Let's get my green. All right, just to show you like how, before everything was really, okay, and then this is obviously like rendering out the way that it is because of the lights that I have. So I'm gonna just turn off my lights for the time being. Just turn these off here. Because these will also, it comes with its own lights as well. Okay, so that's how you can sort of have more of a custom color. But we can do even better than this, okay? So let's take a look at, so for instance, here's all the different parameters that you can use, okay? All the different parameters. And then all the different types of things that you can do to kind of take it away from just like a really, normal looking thing, and like really mix in a bunch of different entities into this environment. Okay, so for instance, we can just go with any of these to start with, right? So let's say, in here you're really into like, I don't know, maybe something about this you're into, but you want to change it. So maybe we'll just keep ours at we'll keep ours at dream for the time being, okay? But we can have so much control over this. So we're just gonna go kind of like line by line, and I'm gonna show you how you can figure this out. So with these presets, right? Active shows and hides components instead of using visible and invisible. This is more about like interactivity, which we'll get into. The preset, go ahead and just pick a preset to get started with. Maybe just pick one that you kind of think is cool. Okay, so this one's seed. Seed for randomization. If you don't like the layout of the elements, try another value or seed, okay? So let's grab this, seed, okay? And then these are all the parameters of environment, okay? So they all need to be inside this quote set, this parameter set, okay? So it's gonna be equals quotes, and then you're just gonna put everything inside of those quotes, and then no semicolon at the end here. So let's try this. And I might just put these on like another line like I had earlier before I did something stupid. Okay, cool. And I might just kind of keep this guy like down here so I don't delete that. Okay, so we'll do seed. Let's try like 10. Okay, so that's what 10 looks like. If we do like 100. Right, so we're getting some changes. 200. Okay, so it looks like it's sort of changing the way that the hills are rendering. It's gonna default to 1. Let's try like 2. Yeah, and then that may change a bit more when we try a different preset. So let's try a different preset. Let's try volcano. So I would encourage you to just kind of try all of these out and try out like different combinations, because you'll get a really, interesting, complex looking situation. So, okay, this is volcano, and I have my green ground, and for this one, maybe let's try like a seed of 20 and see if that changes anything for us. Let's try like 0.5. Oh, duh. Okay, y'all, I forgot the fucking semicolon. All right, so 0.5 is going to be little itty bitty ones. Check it out, little tiny itty bitty one there. Okay, and then I don't know. So let's try our 20 again. So this should render out now. Yeah. Okay. So then you get like lots more of these guys, and they're a lot bigger. So if we try like 200, y'all know I like to break stuff. Yeah. So this will just give you like different options. If we try like 100. Sort of show you like how they seed, right? Like, so their sort of randomness, it'll kind of change the way that they layer themselves and the way that they appear. So you can try different versions of that and see what that gets you. All right, let's just keep moving through. So for the atmosphere is really great. So we can do sky type. We can do a color, a gradient, or an atmosphere. And then when the sky type is a color or a gradient, this sets the main sky color. And then when sky type is a gradient, so long story short, if you're gonna do sky type that's a gradient, you then need these two, because this is gonna be the sky color and this is gonna be the horizon color. So let's try that.